So it's a very different area in the following sense. Patents can mean a lot in that space. They generally mean much less in the information technology space because there are multiple ways to skin the cat in the information technology space. And often one way is almost as good as another way. It's not that patents don't have a role to play, but they're probably not quite as valuable as the foundation of the company. I've generally found that most venture firms think they're worth a lot and that they really need to have that patent protection, but in fact, in most instances of companies, it hasn't been the critical thing. It may later on become important to protect the intellectual property of the company, and particularly as we see more and more multinational companies, we may see that the importance of patents increase in the information technology and semiconductor business. So that's the first thing, patents matter. The other fundamental thing I'd say, most companies in the information technology, semiconductor space that have spun out of Stanford do not fail because the technology doesn't work. For companies coming from Stanford or spinning out of other Valley companies or out of Berkeley or other places, the talent is good enough, the concept is good enough, the technology almost always works. So what happens? You miss the market window. As somebody said, the dogs don't eat the dog food. It's the wrong product at the wrong time. Things like that. The company disintegrates because it doesn't manage itself well. It doesn't spend its investments well. It doesn't hire the right management talent. Those kinds of things happen. Biotech, medical devices, completely different. Large number of companies fail because the technology basically doesn't work. They have a patent that's a key insight into some biological phenomena. They're hoping then to capitalize on that. Long development cycle, and then FDA trials. You may even get through the development cycle and yet not get through the FDA trials. So that's a very different environment than the one we're in. Also, normally it's hard to raise enough capital to get all the way through the process of product development and FDA trials in the biotech or the biomedical devices. So you naturally have to partner with somebody. Of course, increasingly we're seeing partnerships in the information technology and semiconductor world. But you can raise enough capital. You can raise, maybe it takes $100 million, but you can raise $100 or $150 million. Raising $500 or $600 or $1 billion for a company that may just be completely unsuccessful at the end of its FDA trials. That's a much harder task. So, those are a few differences.